In 2234, humanity's long-held dream and dread of encountering extraterrestrial life was realized in a most unforgettable manner. The arrival of the Golraxi, a species whose very stature and bearing exuded superiority, marked a pivotal turn in human history. They descended from the skies in ships that pierced the atmosphere like arrows, their technology manifestly advanced, silencing the world's busiest cities as people looked up in awe and anxiety. Captain Marcus Reed, a seasoned diplomat and military officer, was selected to represent Earth. With his military background and his diplomatic acumen, Marcus was considered the ideal candidate to bridge human interests with those of an unknown alien race. Standing in the colossal shadow of the United Nations building, he watched as the alien delegation disembarked from their vessel, a sight that would intimidate even the most courageous soul. The Golraxi were giants compared to humans, each standing at least 3 meters tall, with sinewy limbs and a rugged exoskeleton that shimmered with a metallic hue under the sun. Their eyes, large and unblinking, gave nothing away of their thoughts or emotions. As they approached the assembly, their leader, a towering figure named Xanthrul, looked down upon the gathering of Earth's representatives with a palpable air of disdain. The initial exchanges were formal and fraught with tension. The universal translator devices hummed softly, bridging languages that had developed in isolation across the cold expanse of space. Xanthrul's voice boomed through the assembly hall, his words resonating off the marble walls. "We observed your kind from afar, curious about your persistence in survival despite such frail forms." The reaction from the human audience was a mix of offense and hushed curiosity. How did one respond to such a blunt assessment from a species so evidently superior in physical form and possibly in technological might? The atmosphere grew heavier as the seconds ticked by, the weight of Xanthrul's judgment hanging over the hall. It was Marcus who broke the silence. Stepping forward, he addressed the assembly with a calm and measured tone, his voice steady despite the flutter of nerves. "We appreciate the Golraxi's interest in our species. Humanity may not boast the physical prowess of your people, but we thrive through our ingenuity and our spirit of endurance. We are eager to learn from you and hopefully share our own achievements." Laughter erupted from the alien delegation. It was not the warm communal laughter shared among friends, but a cold mocking sound that chilled the hearts of all who heard it. Xanthrul looked directly at Marcus, his smile sharp and unsettling. "Your achievements? We are intrigued. Show us then what your species considers an achievement." The challenge was clear and carried an undertone of mockery that could not be ignored. Marcus felt a surge of defiance. This was not merely a diplomatic mission now. It was a test of humanity's place in the cosmic hierarchy. With a brief nod to his colleagues, he signaled that they would indeed take up this gauntlet thrown by their otherworldly visitors. As the meeting concluded, plans were swiftly set into motion. Humanity would host a series of contests to showcase human capabilities, both natural and technological. It was a risky gambit. While the Golraxi's physical superiority was undeniable, Marcus knew that the element of surprise remained humanity's best asset. In the depths of secret labs and tightly secured facilities lay Earth's true response, the Aegis armor. This cutting-edge exoskeleton was designed to augment human abilities to superhuman levels. It was a culmination of Earth's best technology, a symbol of human innovation born out of necessity and the relentless pursuit of advancement. As the world buzzed with the news of the upcoming contests, preparations were set in motion. In the days that followed the formal challenge issued by the Golraxi, Marcus Reed became the focal point of humanity's response. He was not only to be the pilot of the revolutionary Aegis armor, but also the face of human resilience and capability. Behind the scenes, a team of the brightest engineers, scientists, and strategists gathered to prepare Marcus and the Aegis armor for the formidable task ahead. The facility where Aegis was housed resembled a fortress, guarded by the strictest security measures to prevent any leaks about its capabilities. Inside, the atmosphere was charged with a mixture of anticipation and grave responsibility. The Aegis armor itself was a masterpiece of technological prowess. Sleek and imposing, it stood at the height of nearly 3 meters when fully assembled, designed to match the physical stature of the Golraxi. Its outer shell was crafted from a lightweight, ultra-resistant alloy, capable of withstanding extreme forces. The interior was lined with a network of sensors and stimulators that interfaced directly with the wearer, enhancing reflexes and strength beyond human norms. Marcus spent countless hours in the suit, each session pushing him to the limits of his endurance and beyond. The engineers adjusted every servo and sensor to match his movements and reactions perfectly. Simulations ranged from strength tests to complex agility courses, each scenario meticulously designed to prepare him for any challenge the Golraxi might propose. Meanwhile, the world watched, waited, and speculated. The media frenzy surrounding the event was unprecedented. Debates raged over whether this demonstration of technological might would provoke further alien scorn or foster new respect. In bars, living rooms, and online forums, people expressed their fears and hopes. Some believed in the power of human ingenuity embodied by the Aegis armor. Others feared that even this marvel of technology would not be enough to bridge the gap between human and Golraxi capabilities. As the day of the contest approached, the United Nations issued statements of solidarity and hope, urging the global population to stand united, regardless of the outcome. They declared the event the Proving Grounds, a term that resonated with symbolic significance. It was not just Marcus who was being tested, but all of humanity. The Golraxi, for their part, displayed a confident demeanor. They conducted themselves with a dignified, if somewhat aloof, air during their public appearances. Xanthrul occasionally gave interviews, in which he expressed curiosity about human technology and skepticism about its potential. "We have seen civilizations rise and fall," he remarked in one broadcast. "Technology is a tool, and like all tools, its effectiveness depends on the hands that wield it." Back at the training facility, Marcus felt the weight of his role more acutely with each passing day. He knew that the suit could enhance his physical abilities, but the true test would be mental and emotional. How would he handle the pressure of representing his entire species? Could he turn the condescension of a superior alien race into a grudging respect? The night before the contest, Marcus stood alone in the hangar housing the Aegis armor, staring up at the silent, imposing figure. He thought about the journey that had brought him here, from his early days in the military to his role as a diplomat, and now to this moment, where he stood at the frontier of human potential. "This is more than a suit," he muttered to himself. "It's a statement. Tomorrow we show them what humans are truly made of." With a deep breath, Marcus turned away from the armor and headed for a few hours of restless sleep, knowing that the next day would change the course of human history, one way or another. The dawn of the contest day arrived with a palpable tension that enveloped the entire planet. News outlets broadcasted round-the-clock coverage, and viewers from every corner of Earth tuned in, their anticipation mixed with a collective anxiety. Humanity's pride, fear, and hope were all encapsulated in the figure of Marcus Reed. Now more than just a man, he was a symbol. In the quiet before the storm, Marcus entered the preparation chamber where the Aegis armor awaited him. The air was thick with the sterile scent of high-tech machinery and anticipation. Technicians and engineers moved with purpose, making final adjustments to the suit, checking every system with a meticulous attention to detail. The mood was somber yet determined. Everyone understood the stakes. "Systems check initiated," announced Dr. Lena Hart, the lead engineer on the Aegis project. Her voice was steady, belying the nervous energy that she felt. Monitors lit up with streams of data as the suit underwent its final diagnostics. Marcus stood silently, his thoughts a turbulent mix of strategy and reflections. He reviewed every scenario they had trained for, each move he had practiced until it became second nature. The strategy was clear: demonstrate not just the raw power of the Aegis armor, but also the finesse and intelligence with which humans could wield their technological creations. "Power systems green. AI sync is stable. All sensors online," reported another technician, snapping Marcus back to the present. He nodded, stepping towards the suit. The front of the Aegis opened, and he climbed in. The interior was a tight embrace of technology, the neural interface connecting with the back of his suit. As the armor closed around him, a rush of information flowed through his senses, the AI seamlessly integrating with his thoughts. "You're good to go, Captain," Dr. Hart confirmed, her voice coming through the helmet's internal speakers. "Remember, Marcus, you're not alone out there. We're all with you." Marcus took a deep breath, feeling the power of the suit coursing around him. "Thank you, Lena. Let's show them what we're made of." Outside, the arena was a colossal structure specially constructed for the event, capable of accommodating the large crowds that had come to witness this historic moment. The audience was a mix of humans and Golraxi, the latter observing with an air of detached curiosity. The contests were to be broadcast live across the galaxy, a spectacle of interspecies competition that was unprecedented. As Marcus approached the staging area, he could feel the gaze of millions upon him. The weight of expectation was heavy, but within the aegis, he felt fortified against the pressure. The events were designed to test strength, agility, and endurance. Marcus knew the Golraxi expected to dominate in all categories due to their superior physicality. However, the aegis armor was a wild card that they hadn't fully anticipated. In the competitors' lounge, Marcus saw his Golraxi counterparts for the first time that day. They were impressive, their size and confidence clear, but they looked at Marcus and his suit with a mix of interest and skepticism. Xanthrul approached him, his head tilting slightly as he examined the aegis. "An impressive shell, human," Xanthrul remarked, his voice resonant and cool. "But does the creature within match the casing?" Marcus met his gaze, his own eyes calm and unwavering. "We're full of surprises, Xanthrul. I guess you'll find out soon enough." As they were called to the arena, the roar of the crowd filled the air, a tumultuous sea of sound that marked the beginning of what would be either Earth's greatest demonstration of prowess or a stark revelation of its vulnerabilities. Either way, history would remember this day. Marcus stepped into the light, ready to turn the tide of human-alien relations forever. The arena was alive with the electric buzz of anticipation as spectators from both Earth and the Golraxi Empire filled the massive stands. The field of competition, meticulously prepared and technologically equipped, lay at the center, ready to witness feats of strength, agility, and endurance. As Marcus emerged onto the field clad in the aegis armor, a murmur of awe rippled through the crowd. The suit gleamed under the arena's lights, its polished surface reflecting both the anticipation of the audience and the seriousness of the occasion. Marcus's stride was confident, his presence alone demanding attention and respect. It was clear that this was no ordinary contestant. The first event was a test of strength, a straightforward challenge that involved lifting and maneuvering massive weights that would be challenging even for the Golraxi. The weights were designed to progressively increase in mass, pushing each contestant to their physical limits. Xanthrul stepped up first, his large hands grasping the handles of the first weight, a colossal sphere of dense metal. With a grunt, he hoisted it effortlessly, setting the tone. The crowd roared in approval, their cheers echoing off the arena's dome. When Marcus's turn came, he approached the weights calmly. The aegis's servos hummed softly, almost inaudibly, as he lifted the first sphere. To the amazement of the audience, he matched Xanthrul's effort with apparent ease, the armor amplifying his strength to superhuman levels. Whispers and shouts cascaded through the crowd, human spectators swelling with pride, the Golraxi murmuring in surprise. The competition intensified as the weights grew heavier. Each round thinned the field of competitors, with several Golraxi struggling to keep pace. Marcus, however, continued to lift each new challenge without faltering, his movements smooth and precise, augmented by the aegis's advanced technology. By the final round, only Marcus and Xanthrul remained. The final weight was a behemoth, designed to test the limits of even the Golraxi physiology. Xanthrul stepped up, his face set in a grimace of determination. With a monumental effort, he lifted the weight, his frame shaking with the strain. The arena erupted as he set the weight down, his task complete. Now all eyes were on Marcus. Walking up to the final sphere, he paused, his posture steady. The crowd held its breath as he bent to grasp the handles. Then, with a display of power that seemed to defy the very laws of physics, Marcus lifted the weight. The aegis's systems operated at full capacity, its hydraulics and motors synchronizing perfectly with his human instincts and training. The sphere was not just lifted, it was maneuvered with a finesse that no Golraxi had shown. Marcus set it down gently, a stark contrast to the struggle that had marked Xanthrul's attempt. The human sections of the crowd exploded in cheers, a thunderous applause filling the arena. Even some of the Golraxi, impressed by the demonstration, clapped their massive hands. Xanthrul approached Marcus as the noise died down, his expression one of newfound respect. "Well done, human," he said, his voice loud enough for the microphones to catch. "Your suit is indeed a marvel." Marcus nodded, replying with a grin. "It's not just the suit, Xanthrul, it's the human inside it." With the strength contest concluded, the atmosphere in the arena shifted. What had begun as a showcase intended to highlight human inferiority had transformed into a genuine competition. As the preparations for the agility course began, the mood was one of eager anticipation. The next event would test speed and dexterity, and Marcus knew that this was where the Aegis could truly shine, potentially changing the trajectory of the day's events, and of human-Golraxi relations altogether. The arena transformed swiftly, with mechanical precision, into an elaborate obstacle course. It featured hurdles, tight ropes, climbing walls, and sprint tracks, all designed to test the competitors' quickness and finesomeness. The audience's excitement was palpable. If strength was awe-inspiring, agility was breathtaking. Marcus stood at the starting line, his suit's sensors calibrating to the course layout displayed on his HUD. The Aegis armor, while built for strength, was equally adept at enhancing his speed and agility. Its design included responsive joint servos and a real-time analytics system to predict and adapt to physical movement. Xanthrul, who had shown gracious respect following the strength test, nodded at Marcus from his position. The challenge was no longer just about demonstrating superiority, but about mutual respect and the thrill of competition. As the starting signal blared, Marcus exploded forward. The Aegis armor propelled him at an extraordinary pace, his movements a blur to the onlookers. He vaulted over hurdles with graceful arcs, each motion fluid and precise. The suit's AI adjusted his trajectory and force, ensuring that each landing was perfectly balanced to maintain momentum. The tightrope was next, a test of balance and precision. Marcus approached, his sensors analyzing the rope's tension and sway. With a deep breath, he stepped onto it, the Aegis stabilizing his movements as he walked across rapidly but calmly, his arms barely swaying. Below him, some of the Golraxi competitors struggled with the rope, their massive forms less suited to such delicate tasks. Their attempts were met with encouragement from their fellow Golraxi, but also with a growing appreciation from human spectators for the diverse strengths and weaknesses on display. The climbing wall presented another challenge. Here, Marcus showcased the Aegis's capability to distribute weight and calculate grip strength dynamically. He ascended swiftly, finding holds that were calculated in real time, his ascent smooth and unhesitating. By the time Marcus reached the final obstacle, a complex maze of sprint tracks with sudden drops and sharp turns, he had gained a substantial lead. His performance was not just a demonstration of raw speed, but of strategic movement. Each step, turn, and jump was optimized for efficiency and speed. As he crossed the finish line, the crowd was on its feet, the cheers and applause deafening. Marcus's time was not just good, it was unprecedented. The display boards around the arena flashed his time, followed by the stats of the closest Golraxi competitor, who finished significantly later. Xanthrul, finishing with a commendable but slower time, joined Marcus at the end of the course. "Your technology," he panted, slightly winded but smiling, "is impressive, but the courage to push it to its limits, that is purely human." Marcus clapped him on the shoulder, feeling a camaraderie that had been absent at the start of the day. "And your spirit to compete and push through, knowing the disadvantage, that's the mark of true competitors." The event concluded with both species engaging more warmly with each other, the contests serving as a bridge rather than a divider. The agility event in particular had highlighted not only the capabilities of the Aegis armor, but also the spirit of the man within it. As they prepared for the final test of endurance, Marcus knew that the hardest part was yet to come. However, the day's events had already begun to shift perceptions on both sides. Humanity was demonstrating that their place in the cosmos was earned not by physical might alone, but through the ingenuity and spirit that their technology embodied. This was about more than just winning. It was about establishing humanity as a dignified, capable member of the galactic community. The final contest was set to test endurance, arguably the most grueling of all the events. The challenge was a long-distance race across a rugged artificial terrain that mimicked the harsh environments found on various planets throughout the galaxy. The course included steep inclines, treacherous descents, thick mud patches, and sections of loose, shifting stones designed to push the competitors to their absolute limits. As the sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows across the arena, Marcus and the remaining competitors lined up at the starting line. The mood was tense but respectful, each competitor mentally preparing for the arduous journey ahead. Marcus, enclosed in the Aegis armor, ran diagnostics one last time, ensuring all systems were at optimal levels. The endurance race wasn't just a physical test, but a battle of willpower and resilience. The starting signal sounded, and the racers burst forward. Marcus felt the Aegis respond instantly, its systems perfectly attuned to his body's needs. The first section of the course, with its steep inclines, proved tough, but the Aegis's power-assisted limbs propelled him upwards, allowing him to conserve energy while maintaining a strong pace. Around him, the Golraxi competitors used their natural strength to climb, their powerful muscles bulging with effort. They were formidable, their stamina evident as they pushed through the physical challenges. However, Marcus could see the strain on their faces. Their massive bodies were not built for long-term endurance. The descent was perilous, with loose gravel and sudden drops. Marcus used the Aegis's enhanced balance control to navigate the treacherous terrain smoothly. He watched as one of the Golraxi slipped, catching himself but losing precious time. Marcus paused for a moment to ensure the competitor was unhurt before continuing, a small gesture of sportsmanship that was noted by the onlookers. As the race progressed, the mud patches proved to be the great equalizer. Marcus's initial lead diminished as the thick mud clung to the Aegis, weighing it down. The Golraxi, with their larger surface area and heavy limbs, trudged through with surprising efficacy, their natural physiology giving them an unexpected advantage in this terrain. Realizing he needed to adapt his strategy, Marcus activated the Aegis's thermal systems to slightly heat the armor, loosening the mud's grip. It was a risky move, drawing heavily on the suit's power reserves, but it paid off. Freed from the mud, he regained his pace, catching up to the leaders. The final stretch was a flat sprint, the end in sight but still agonizingly distant. Marcus pushed the Aegis to its limits, the suit's energy core humming loudly as it neared depletion. Beside him, Xanthrul matched his pace, the two leaders pushing each other, their earlier camaraderie giving way to fierce competition. As they neared the finish line, Marcus felt the Aegis's energy levels dip critically low. With one final burst of speed powered by sheer human determination and the last reserves of the suit's power, Marcus crossed the finish line, just seconds ahead of Xanthrul. Exhausted but elated, Marcus collapsed at the finish line, the Aegis powering down to conserve its remaining energy. The crowd, both human and Golraxi, erupted into applause, recognizing not only the physical achievements but the spirit of determination and resilience displayed by all competitors. Xanthrul approached Marcus, helping him to his feet. "Your endurance is commendable, human. Today you have shown that it is not the size of the body, but the strength of the heart that truly counts." After the grueling endurance race, the arena was filled with an atmosphere of shared respect and admiration. Both human and Golraxi spectators continued to cheer long after Marcus and Xanthrul had crossed the finish line, celebrating the spirit of determination and resilience shown by all competitors. In the aftermath of the final event, the Golraxi delegation, led by Xanthrul, invited Marcus and the human representatives to a formal ceremony. It was a significant gesture, symbolizing the shift in perception from the initial condescension to genuine respect. The ceremony was held at the center of the arena, where a stage had been set up for the occasion. Representatives from both species filled the seats, the buzz of conversation reflecting the day's excitement and the anticipation of what was to come. Xanthrul stepped up to the podium first, his massive frame imposing yet no longer intimidating in the way it had been when they first arrived. He spoke with a tone of respect that was noticeably absent during their initial meeting. "Today we witness the strength, agility, and endurance of humanity," Xanthrul began, his voice echoing throughout the arena. "We came here underestimating you, guided by our own preconceptions of strength and capability. But you, Marcus Reed, and your remarkable Aegis armor have taught us a valuable lesson about the diversity of strength and the power of ingenuity." The crowd listened intently, the Golraxi among them nodding in agreement, a sign that their leader's words echoed their own changed perceptions. Marcus was next to speak. As he stood up, he felt the weight of his words, knowing they would be recorded and remembered in the annals of human history. He removed his helmet, showing his face, sweat-streaked but smiling. "Thank you, Xanthrul, and to all of our Golraxi friends," Marcus said. "Today wasn't just about proving humanity's worth. It was about learning from each other. We have shown that when we come together, respecting our differences and celebrating our strengths, we can overcome any challenge." His words were met with applause, not just from humans but from many Golraxi as well. It was clear that the events of the day had altered the course of human-Golraxi relations, sowing the seeds of mutual respect and potential collaboration. The ceremony concluded with an exchange of gifts, a traditional Golraxi gesture of goodwill. Xanthrul presented Marcus with a piece of Golraxi technology, a small device capable of enhancing neural connectivity, an apt symbol of the new bridge being formed between their two species. In return, Marcus presented Xanthrul with a miniature model of the Aegis armor, crafted by the same engineers who built the real thing. "To remember this day and the lessons we've learned," Marcus said as he handed over the model. As the ceremony drew to a close, the mood was one of celebration and newfound camaraderie. Plans were made for further exchanges and meetings, laying the groundwork for a formal alliance and future collaborations. That evening, as Marcus walked away from the arena, he felt a profound sense of accomplishment. Not only had he helped to secure humanity's place on the galactic stage, but he had also helped to turn what could have been a display of dominance into an opportunity for unity. Looking up at the stars, he felt a deep connection to the vast unexplored spaces they represented. With the Golraxi as allies, those distant points of light seemed a little closer, a little more like destinations than mere dreams. Marcus knew that the road ahead would be filled with challenges, but for the first time, humanity would not face them alone. The days following the contests were abuzz with negotiations and discussions, both formal and informal, between Earth and the Golraxi representatives. The events in the arena had laid a strong foundation for these talks, turning what could have been a mere diplomatic formality into a genuine effort to build a meaningful alliance. At the heart of the discussions was the technology exchange. The Golraxi were particularly interested in the Aegis armor technology, intrigued by its ability to amplify human capabilities so significantly. They saw potential applications not just in military and security settings, but also in exploration and labor on their home planets, where harsh environments made such enhancements invaluable. For their part, the humans were eager to gain insights into Golraxi advancements in energy production and space travel technologies, areas where the Golraxi had made significant strides beyond what was currently possible on Earth. The exchange was framed not just as a sharing of tools and techniques, but as a collaborative effort to advance the capabilities of both species. Captain Marcus Reed, now a hero not only on Earth but recognized as a figure of respect among the Golraxi, was at the forefront of these discussions. His first-hand experience with both the Aegis armor and the competitions had given him a unique perspective on the potential synergies between human ingenuity and Golraxi resilience. As negotiations progressed, a formal treaty was drafted, detailing the terms of technology sharing, joint explorations, and mutual defense agreements. This treaty, named the Terra-Golrax Accord, was to be signed in a grand ceremony attended by leaders from both species. The signing ceremony was held at the United Nations, broadcast live to billions across Earth, and on Golraxi ships and settlements. It was a momentous occasion, marked by speeches that highlighted the journey from competition to collaboration. In his speech, Marcus emphasized the shared future. "Today we are not just forming an alliance between two species, we are laying the groundwork for a united exploration of the stars. Our combined strengths and shared knowledge pave the way for a brighter future for all our peoples." Xanthrul, speaking after Marcus, mirrored his sentiments. "The contests we began with showed us our strengths and our weaknesses. Now, with this accord, we turn those lessons into stepping stones towards a greater destiny. Let this be the day that we chose unity over division, cooperation over isolation." The documents were signed amid cheers and applause, a symbolic sealing of the new friendship. As the representatives shook hands, flashes from countless cameras captured the historic moment, a snapshot of hope and unity. In the weeks that followed, joint task forces were established, comprising experts from both species in various fields: science, defense, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. Marcus was appointed as the head of the Joint Exploratory Committee, tasked with planning their first collaborative mission into uncharted space. The formation of this alliance also opened doors for cultural exchanges and educational initiatives, helping to bridge the gap between the two species on a more personal level. Human and Golraxi children began learning about each other's worlds in school, and cultural festivals introduced civilians to each other's customs and traditions. With the Terra-Golrax Accord firmly in place, Captain Marcus Reed found himself at the helm of a new collaborative future. His role as head of the Joint Exploratory Committee was not just a position of leadership, but a beacon for the boundless possibilities that lay ahead. The committee's first task was to map out a series of joint missions. These missions were designed not only to explore unknown regions of space, but also to test and refine the integration of human and Golraxi technologies. The Aegis armor, having proven its worth on Earth, was to be adapted for space exploration, with enhancements from Golraxi engineering making it more versatile than ever. The first mission targeted a recently discovered exoplanet, deemed potentially habitable and only reachable through the use of Golraxi hyperdrive technology, a clear example of how crucial their technology was to the endeavor. Both human and Golraxi crews were selected for the mission, trained to operate a spacecraft that was itself a hybrid of their technologies. As the launch date approached, excitement and anticipation grew. Marcus, busy with preparations, also took the time to engage in public talks and interviews, sharing the vision and goals of the mission. "We're not just going to explore new worlds," he explained in a widely broadcast interview. "We're also testing the strength of our alliance, learning to operate as a unified crew under conditions we can hardly anticipate." The launch was a global event, watched by millions on Earth and across Golraxi territories. The spacecraft, named the Pathfinder, soared into the sky, a symbol of their combined technological prowess and cooperative spirit. As the Pathfinder journeyed through space, the crew worked seamlessly, handling challenges and sharing insights. Their first destination provided them with more than just data. It offered a perspective on how tiny their disputes appeared when viewed against the vast backdrop of the cosmos. The planet was rich in resources, and its ecosystems were unlike anything found in their home systems, offering new fields of study for science and new metaphors for poets. Back on Earth in the Golraxi homeworld, schools updated their curricula to include lessons about the mission, fostering a generation that would grow up knowing not just their own planet, but also their place within a larger shared universe. The success of the Pathfinder mission paved the way for further explorations and even the establishment of a joint outpost on another system, which served both as a research station and a symbol of their enduring alliance. The outpost, staffed by both humans and Golraxi, became a melting pot of cultures and ideas, further proving that the unity forged in the fire of competition could blossom into a fruitful partnership. Years later, Marcus looked back on these developments with a deep sense of fulfillment. Under his leadership, and through the efforts of countless individuals from both species, the seeds planted on the day of the contests had grown into a lush tree of cooperation, its branches stretching into the unknown.